Hala. Hey, Hala. I am so happy
Hey,
you are joining us today for Coaching for a Cause Coffee Break Combo. Thank you
I'm
for
so
being here.
excited. Thank you, Lisa.
Hey, this is an opportunity to share with our Action Coach colleagues and friends and family some tips that they can start to use today for helping them coach nonprofits. So first, you know what I thought I would start off with, and this is unexpected for you.
Ooh,
But you
curveball. I
just,
love it.
right? I know that's how you roll. So I thought that's how we'd start. You just attended the recent Coaching for a Cause workshop.
Mhm.
So what are a few takeaways that you got out of that workshop, and would you recommend that other action coaches take it if they had to miss this one?
Yes, I love it. Thank you. Thank you for asking, Lisa, and thank you for inviting me for this discussion. For me, the biggest takeaway is there is so much information and support that is specifically designed for nonprofits. And I promised myself that I'm going to use the word for impact. For those of you who haven't attended the training, go attend the training. It's awesome. So for all of these for impact organizations, the ones that I coach are smaller organizations. So they are flying by the seats of their pants. They have a board, but they don't have a structure. So what I got out of training is that there is an actual structure. The board has specific roles and responsibilities in order to serve those organizations to the best of their capabilities. And this is what I'm going to focus on, have the board be super proactive and do what they're supposed to do.
Oh, I love that. That's excellent. And that's a key too when you're talking about you engaging and working with the board, because that's one way that you can be building up your coaching business while you're
Mhm.
doing something as far as donating your time and coaching a nonprofit for free. Now you
Mhm.
also have access to the board members, which a lot of them are business owners or people of influence in the community that connect you to business owners and organizational leaders.
Yeah.
So great tip. Hala, what are some tips that you would have for our action coaches to start today to help them coach nonprofits? What's your experience been?
My experience was I started coaching almost as soon as I finished training. Few months in, I thought, let me start helping the nonprofits. So first, I chose a nonprofit that I felt connected to their cause. This helped me be super motivated to help them even more. And I just followed the system. I just, took them through the 5 ways, and we do a lot of marketing. So understanding the marketing concepts, the different, whatever we teach our businesses and our business owners, the same concept, and trying to adopt these and adapt them to the nonprofit world. It's been really, really great because when they start applying those tools, they can see the results, and they became Raven fans. So it's a win-win for everybody.
I love that you say that because there really is so much more that's in common that not in common. And I know that some action coaches that have been used to just for-profit, private sector, corporate, there's a reluctancy because they feel they don't really understand the background regarding a nonprofit, and that they're two different motivators. Have you ever experienced some of the nonprofit leadership questioning, incorporating best business practices? I said this at the workshop, that in my consultancy, what I'd always say to nonprofits is that if you're willing to look at your nonprofit through the lens of best business practices, then I want to work with you and help you. Have you experienced resistance, and what have you done to overcome that to enlighten our nonprofit brothers and sisters leaders?
Yeah, thank you. This is a great question because it wasn't truly a resistance. It was a questioning of the labels. So once we changed those labels to customer versus donors, and to repeat business to donations multiple times, once we changed that formula to use their languaging, it became a lot easier because at the end of the day, they wanted to grow and get more donations to be able to impact more people. So once we got down, we both understood that. It was easy to carry forward that conversation, that it's no longer about money and profit. It's about making more impact and serving more people. This is when the whole conversation shifted to, in order for us to make bigger impact, we need more donors. In order for us more donors, we need to do different types of marketing, and bridging that communication and that label gap, or that verbiage that was completely different. They're not used to it this way. It made the whole conversation a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. So I'm so glad that you brought up language, because one is that there's so many parallels that we can be using within our own Action Coach library. And you said follow the system. There's many similarities. It's just how they apply to for impact sector. And then part of that workshop also was identifying what I consider in the nonprofit sector is antiquated language with current and more dynamic language. For instance, just as you noted, instead of defining nonprofits by what they don't do, define them by what they do. They make an impact, and you want to be growing their impact so that you can reach more of the people who are in need. So if you remember that, that's another part of the workshop, and part of the community that we're building is giving you the access to these tools that people can find out, when they have a level of competency, it equals confidence, that they can go and talk to the nonprofit leadership. And I guarantee you that if you start to use some of these other words that we shared in the workshop and that we now have in the Yammer and in the what Karen has built in our resource library, when you start to use that language, you're going to see some executive directors and board members say, wow, what are they talking about? I want to know more.
Yeah, I think one of the, just to cut you off, sorry to cut you off, one of the most amazing tool that I saw in the workshop was that adapted Growth Club checklist that is purely designed using the verbiage and the language and the things that the for impact organizations are focused on. It was just amazing to bring that conversation and speak their language, and I found it priceless. Amazing resource. Thank you for that, Lisa and Karen and everyone who worked on developing all this content and all of these tools.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Yeah, that is a great resource. I knew it was there, but when it comes to the language, I wasn't making the link, and you provide a really good point there, that they can just be looking at that and gain a better understanding of the language that can be used with the for impact sector. What would you say to an action coach who wanted to get started tomorrow? Like, what are the 3 next best steps they could take to start working with nonprofits in their community?
Yeah, I can share my experience on how I got started. I didn't know anybody. I don't know many organizations here. But I am part of lots of Facebook groups and Facebook and moms and all of that. So I decided to share a post online on Facebook and say, I'm going to offer 6 months of coaching for a deserving nonprofit to help them increase their donors list, make bigger impact in their community. Who do you know that you could recommend to me? I'm doing a short list, I'm doing some interviews, and I will pick a lucky winner by the end of the month. The response I got was overwhelming. I got around 15 nonprofits that were referred to me, and I ultimately picked the one that I resonated with the most based on the excitement of the founder and how excited they are to work with us and how open they are to trying something new. And I had to be passionate about their cause as well. So, and now I have been coaching them since April.
15. Yeah. You received 15 responses, right?
Yeah.
So this is excellent. All of you can go to Hala's, Facebook. I'm much more familiar with LinkedIn. I believe that, did you post it on LinkedIn too?
I did. I posted on all social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
Right. Excellent. So you can go to Hala's page and you can look and see what she did in her posting. That is a great example of how you can start to be more engaged with your nonprofit sector. And then what I said at the workshop too was to establish some criteria first in regards to how you would choose them. So can you elaborate on that?
Yes, of
How you
course.
chose
So
them?
for how I chose them. So basically, I received different types of not-for-profits, and I started evaluating based on first what's the cause, what they are supporting, and do I truly feel passionate about this cause? This was number one. Number two, I was really interviewing, like we do with our clients, the coachability. So trying to see how open-minded they are in trying different new tools and new strategies to grow and improve their impact and improve the way they do and reach out to donors and do the impact in their organizations. So for me, these are the primary two things that I was looking for: how passionate I am for their cause and how coachable they are. And if they have a support system, are they a one-man or woman band, or do they have a big board and they have a big organization where they can delegate? Because, you know, the bigger the company and the organization, they will be able to delegate more and do a lot of the work faster. So these were my primary criteria. Nothing, you know, different than what I do for my my coaching business.
I love it. Those are great things, Hala. And excuse me for 1 second. We talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our dog babies are like our babies, that of course when we get on the phone or we're recording,
They want all the attention.
Exactly. That's what happens. It happened at the workshop too. So
it's okay.
I have my dog baby here, but we're coming to the end of this. I want to thank you for that, because I think that there's some really solid things that you said. You talked about marketing and what it is that's similar to marketing within the you know, Action Coach and in the nonprofit sector. You talked about follow the system, right? And then you talked about some creative ways that you incorporated in how you can be attracting nonprofits. So with that, here we go. I'm going to have him join us really quick.
Perfect.
Yeah. So thank you very much, because I think that you really have this creative approach. Look, creative approach to how you are working with nonprofits. And the other thing I just want to add there too is, you know, to really go into it with what it is, be strategic about it. I think that's what I mentioned on the workshop too. My experience with nonprofits is that it also, as Hala was saying, that you want to align your values with that particular nonprofit's values. And so it becomes in many ways a passion project. Yeah. When that happens, sometimes we can get into a gear of overdoing and overgiving a lot. And so I always recommend that if we're going to be working with nonprofits too, that we have a strategy in place. We're doing the right thing, we're making a difference, and we also see the value in what it's doing to enhance our coaching business as well. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So any closing thoughts before we sign off with this Coaching for a Cause coffee break combo?
No, I would like to thank you, and I would like to encourage everyone to take the opportunity to train, to have access to all the tools, and go coach in nonprofits and make a bigger impact. So that's it.
Great. Thank you so much, Hala. We look forward to seeing you too, and keep on hollering out.
Thank you.
Woohoo! Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.